good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our game-changing webinar series for SBL June 2026 attempt. This is Hasan Dossani. So, our webinar is spread over 2 days, which is today and then tomorrow. And what we will be covering is basically our plan for next 2 days. So today we will focus on all the formats which are applicable in your exam. Then I will go through all the professional skills. There are 5 professional skills. And then the most important segment for today is the exam techniques, which I will cover very, very thoroughly. And then tomorrow, we will start our discussion with prize winners of March attempt so that we can learn from their experience, what was their approach, what was their study plan. Then I will discuss about technical articles tomorrow. Then we will draft one question so that you get an idea how to do drafting in SBL, followed by list of important topics. And lastly, the study plan for last 4 weeks. So let's get started. So how to ask question? So today it's a global webinar, which means that my paid students are there anyways, but also self-study students have also joined. Because of the large size of the group, you will be able to ask questions through the chat box only. So the verbal mic option is disabled today. So all questions will be through chat box. But what is more important here is that I will not take random questions. You just need to make sure that your question should relate to the slide or the topic under discussion. Any general questions I will take at the end of the webinar. Is that clear, guys? And guys, can you please, can I request you to stop sending me request for enabling the captions for this meeting? That's very distracting. All right. So one of the most common question I receive is that, are we supposed to watch my previous webinars? So this webinar is for June attempt, right? So are you supposed to watch my previous webinars? Well, yes and no. All the exam techniques, strategies, you should follow this webinar because this is the latest webinar, right? But if you want to do some extra drafting, if you want to solve some extra questions, then you can watch my previous webinars only for doing extra questions. So if you go to my previous webinars, I've given a list here. So there are 11 questions which you can solve by looking at the webinar. Okay. But if you are my paid student in June attempt, then most of them we will be solving in a live class. Most of these we will be solving in the live class, right? But if you are a self-study student and you want to do some practice, this is the list which you can use. A quick introduction of myself. Most of you already know me by profession. I'm a chartered accountant. I am working as a CFO in an insurance company based in Dubai for last 15 years. And I've been teaching for last 25 years. Teaching is my passion. But what's more important here is my WhatsApp number. That's how you can connect with me if you have any doubts or questions. All right. Before I proceed, just a quick tribute to all my high scorers of March attempt. So this is the list of all my students who scored high marks in March. Like Lubaina from Pakistan, she's also the prize winner of Pakistan for March attempt. And tomorrow I have invited Lubaina to connect with us and share her experience and her strategy and her approach so that you guys are also able to score good marks. All right. SBL pass rate for March, it was 52%, which is very good. Historically, it has been always above 50%, ranging between 50 and 53. So very healthy pass rate as compared to your other strategic professional papers. So if you work a little bit hard and if you just give your sincere effort for the next 1 month, you can take advantage of high passing percentage and you can pass with flying colors. Okay. Now, SBL is very, very different. I've talked about it at various forums before. So I'll just skip this task. Now, this is something very interesting. So a lot of you students, when you are attempting any paper, you think like you are a student, right? In your mindset, you feel that you are a student. But if you want to perform well in SBL, you need to change your mindset. You should think that you are a CFO or a business leader or a director of the company or an external consultant of a company. You should not think like a student. You should think at a next level, external consultant or CFO or CEO or director, someone senior. Once you imagine yourself as someone responsible for the entire business, your attitude, your approach, your thought process will automatically change, right? And just imagine that you are explaining your points to the board and not the examiner, right? So once you start imagining this, your quality of thought process, your quality of drafting will suddenly become twice better. Okay. And all my high scorers, all my prize winning students, they have actually adopted this mindset. All right. So a quick overview about the paper. No change in the syllabus. Your pre-seen material will be published around 20th of May. Paper duration is 3 hours and 15 minutes. Now, how many of you have seen a real SBL paper on the CBE platform? Write me. Obviously, my paid students, we have solved questions on the CBE platform, so you are familiar. And how many of you have never seen the SBL paper on a CBE platform? Write never. Write never. Listen to the instructions carefully. All right, so there are few students who have never seen. So let me spend just 1 minute on the CBE platform. Let me close everything. So I'll just go to the CB platform. I know the link. It is practice.ia. So I have this link. I hope this platform works. It's sometimes very, very moody. Ouch. It doesn't seem to work. Crazy. Let me click from here. Ah, okay. So I will log into my ACCA portal. One more try, last try. Hope it works. Perfect. Let me open one paper. Let me open the latest one. Okay, resume. All right. So guys, this once you open your SBL paper, this is the first screen you will see. What do I call this screen? Some students are not able to join. Oh my God. Wait, let me call my college. There's probably a restriction. Let me just call my technical team that students are not able to join. Just give me 1 minute, please. Huh? Sorry, guys. All right. So the first page you will see, we call it the landing page. And there are two very important information on the landing page. The first information is our role. So your role will be mentioned on the landing page, which is senior business analyst. And the second important thing is the date. So these are the two important information which you will find on the landing page. On the left, you will see exhibits, followed by the pre-scene, and then the task, and then the response tools like word processor, spreadsheet, and slides. So this pre-scene, when the pre-scene will be published for June, let me know. When this pre-scene around 20th of May, roughly, it is published 2 weeks before your exam, so which is roughly 20th of May. So they will provide the pre-scene here as well if you want to refer to the pre-scene. So it's available. And then these exhibits, these are the additional information which will be given to you on your exam day. Okay. How many exhibits are there in this paper? There are 4 exhibits which has been meaning 4 additional information. One is about potential acquisition. One is about further information, financing and stakeholder management, and new systems and board committees. Now, if you see here, the task is here. So you click on the task and the task will Open. Okay. You will see the task. There is task number 1A and then 1B. So now, where is task number 2? There is only one task here. Where is task number 2 and 3? How do I look for it? It's on the next page. So you have to go to here at the right corner, press next. So you will go to the next page. Everything will be same, only the task will change. So here is task number two, and then again next. Everything will be same, only the task will change. Now guys, listen very carefully. Each task has its own word processor. So task 3, you have to solve using this word processor. Is that clear? So there are 3 tasks, hence 3 word processors. If I go back to task number 2, you have to solve using this word processor. Okay. So if you open the word processor, it is blank. And can you open multiple windows? Can you open multiple windows? Yes, you can. You can open you can easily copy paste, copy, and then Control C, Control. Wow, what's happening? Control C, Control V. Yeah. So you can easily copy paste information on the word. All right. Guys, recording will be uploaded on Monday morning. I asked you not to ask any irrelevant questions. Okay? All right. So you now have an idea about the CBE platform, right? Where is my presentation gone? Shit. Now, guys, why do students fail SBL? That's very important to understand, right? The most common reason is that the answers are not linked with the exhibits. Answers are not linked with the exhibits. Students, they tend to give general answer or theoretical answers or definitions or models, nothing to do with the scenario. You will get 0 mark. All your answer has to be in according to the scenario and the exhibit. It's mandatory. SBL is not a theoretical paper. You have to, it's application of the knowledge, application based paper. Is that clear? How do we link our answers with the scenario? Any idea? How can we make sure that our answers are linked with the scenario? By using information from the exhibit. You have to pick up the relevant informations from the exhibits and then elaborate on it. The second one is poor time management or overspending time on one particular question. So again, you have to follow strictly on your time management skills, time management techniques. You have to develop your speed. I know from experience that most of the students, they struggle with speed. Either their reading speed is slow, or their thinking speed is slow, their drafting speed is slow. No, man. If you are slow, you will not be able to complete the paper. So you still have 1 month while we are practicing. Specifically focus on speed, show some urgency, try to do it fast, do not be relaxed. Okay. The third most common reason is 50% questions are common sense questions. More than 50% of your tasks are common sense question. Common sense question means what? That they don't require any theoretical knowledge. You just need to read the exhibit and think logically. For example, the examiner can give you a proposal and he can ask you, what are the pros and cons of this proposal? Evaluate this proposal. So you don't require any theoretical knowledge, right? You need to just think logically, what are the benefits of this project and what are the drawbacks of this project? How can you become better in common sense question, guys? Any idea? How can you become good in logical thinking, doing more and more common sense questions, discussions? Yes. And then another reason is not understanding the requirement correctly. There are few students who misunderstand the requirement, and obviously, if you misunderstood the requirement, what will happen? You will go in the wrong direction, you will solve in the wrong direction, and you will get 0 marks. So all your time and effort is wasted. Very, very important that you understand the requirement accurately. How can we do that? First of all, I always read the requirement 2 times. That's my habit. As a CFO as well. Anything which is critical, I read it 2 times so that I make sure that I have understood what's written. And also, while reading the requirements, you can focus on the key words. So the requirement might be three sentences or 3 lines. But I would just look at the keywords to simplify the requirement and make sure that I understood it. Is that clear, guys? Again, this will improve through practice, right? And then there are some other reasons as well, which I can skip. I'll just skip some irrelevant slides, and I want to focus more time on the important things. So now, are you guys ready for solving a question? Yeah, ready? Let's go. Oops, no, 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 no. You guys are not ready. Why? Do you know all the formats? Do you know all the formats? How can you solve a past paper when you don't know all the applicable formats, right? So now, guys, we are focusing on solving past paper, right? So in order to solve full past paper, there are some prerequisites. Number one, you should be familiar with all the formats. All right, so let's look at the various formats. The most common, the most frequently tested format is this one. report or a briefing paper or a briefing note or a memo. 80 or 70% of the time, the examiner requires this format, either a report, either a briefing paper, either a briefing note, either a memo. What I have done is I have simplified this format for you so that it doesn't matter what the examiner asks. If you memorize this format, it can fit into all these 4 categories. Is that clear, guys? So this format I will use for all these 4 categories. So on the top, we will write the heading, report or briefing paper or briefing note, whatever is the format required. Then it will be to, from, subject, date. Is that clear? To, from, subject, date. You have to memorize this. Then you will give a brief introduction. And you will say this report. And then you copy from the requirement. You just copy paste the requirement. That will become your introduction. So my paid students, they are already aware of this, right? We have solved several questions now. And then your main answer will start. The headings, the broad headings, the subheadings, your drafting, all this will be here after the introduction. And in the end, you will write the closure, which is best regards, followed by whatever your role is. Is the format clear, everybody? Yes or no? All right. So you will need to memorize this format. And once you start solving past papers, you will become fast at it. Now, a couple of things here. Is conclusion or recommendation required when we are making a report? Do we need to give a conclusion or a recommendation? No, absolutely correct. We will not give any conclusion or recommendation voluntarily, unless the question specifically mentions that please recommend or please conclude. Then obviously you have to do. But if the requirement is silent, then no need for recommendation or conclusion. The second format, sometimes the examiner says, draft a section of a report. Not a full report, but just draft a section of a report. A section of a report means one portion or a small extract or a small portion of the report. So again, we will give the heading section of a report on the top. We will skip the to, from, subject, date because it's not a full report, it's just a portion. We will just give the subject. We will give an introduction that this section of the report will discuss blah, blah, blah. Then you will draft your answer here and then the closure. Again, you need to memorize this format. There is no rocket science in this. The third format is email. Sometimes the examiner says draft an email to the finance director. Again, same format like a report. On the top, you will write email, then to, from, subject, date. Then the introduction paragraph that this email discusses the proposal of ABC. Then your actual drafting answers and points will be here, followed by the closure. This one is exactly like, not exactly, but very similar to the report format. Only difference is the heading introduction is not there, but the introduction paragraph is there. Just the subheading is not there. Is that clear? Will I share this handout? Absolutely, yes. The handout will be shared on Monday so that you can memorize all these formats. Okay. Now, something very important, presentation slide. This is tested in I would say this is tested in every paper. Almost 90% of the time, the examiner asks you to prepare presentation slide. So, presentation slide, if I go back to the CBE platform, whenever you get a question on presentation, can you see here that there is a separate template for slides? So whenever any requirement asks you to prepare presentation slides, then you will need to use this option. Then we will not use the word processor for that task. We will use the slides option. Is that clear, guys? Okay. So when I click on the slides, this template will open up. Now you will see slide number 1, and then this is just like a Word document in which you can type. Okay. You can type, you can copy paste. Then if you go down, you will see slide number 1, speaker note. So you see there are two parts. The actual slide number 1 and followed by slide number 1, speaker note. If you scroll down, then you will see slide number 2 and followed by slide number 2, speaker note. Is this clear so far? That each slide has two components, the main slide and the speaker notes. Now, what is the difference between the main slide and the speaker note? So you can understand from here. So this is the main slide. Slide number 1. This is the main slide. How many of you have actually seen a real life presentation or a presentation in a real life in your office, in your institute? So you must have an idea that the presentation slide does not contain paragraphs and stories. No, it is generally high level bullets. Correct? When we look at any slide, it is normally bullet points. And then the speaker who is presenting the slides, he is explaining these bullets in his own words, right? Exactly same concept here, that on the slide, you just need to write bullet points, the high level bullets. And where you will explain these bullet, guys, where is the drafting of these bullets? Where is the explanation? Under the second portion, which is speaker notes or supporting notes. Okay. So if there are 3 bullets on the slide, how many paragraphs should I expect to see under speaker notes? 3. one paragraph for each bullet. And should the paragraph be in sequence of the bullets, like exact sequence, or should it be unprofessional mixed? No, right? Correct. So that's how we prepare slides. That on the main slide, we will just give the main bullet points, and the explanation or drafting of these points will be under speaker notes in a paragraph form. If I go back to the CBE platform, slide number 1, you will give the title here, whatever is the title, and you will write bullets here, only bullets. And where you will explain those 3 bullets, under speaker notes, you will type here your drafted paragraphs. And then slide number 2, again same, this first slide will have the bullets and the header, and the explanation will be in the speaker notes. Is that clear, guys? So once we will do past papers, you will become, it's not difficult, it's not complicated. It's just that the subheadings are on the first slide and the explanation is in the second slide. Understood? All right, let's move on. Sometimes the examiner is asked to prepare letter. Draft a letter to the CEO. Very rare. This has just been tested 2 or 3 times in the last 4 years. But nonetheless, we should be aware. So on the top, you will write the name letter, followed by the date. Then on the right side, you will write your name of the organization and your country. Then here you will write the name of the addressee, the name of the organization, and the address or the country. Dear addressee, subject, opening paragraph that this letter discusses the proposal, blah, blah, blah. Then your actual answer, and then the closure. A little bit different format than report. So you will need to memorize this format for letter. Abdul, wait. It's depending on the requirement, okay? And another thing is press release or website release. Do you know what is a press release? What is a press release? Ahmad, please guess from the name. Press release. Some announcement which is published in the newspaper or media. Some company announcement which is published for the public, right? Generally in a newspaper or public media, public announcement. And what is a website release? Web release? Guess, guys, there is no room for idiots in SBL. You need to be smart, street smart. Website release, it's again a public announcement, but it is placed on company's website. Not in newspapers, but on its website. Okay. So almost same thing. The main thing is this is an announcement for the public. It's public information. So again, you will give the heading, the subject, the name of the company, your opening sentence. Through this press release, we would like to share our views, blah, blah, blah. Then you will draft your answer. and then the closure will be like this. Again, a unique format, a different format, you need to memorize it. Then one time the examiner has mentioned prepare a business case, draft a business case. So, what is a business case? So, again, a business case relates to project management. It is used in project management, and business case will have three broad headings: the current situation or the current problem, what are the options, and recommendation. Okay, these are the three headings which you will need to use if you prepare a business plan. This, I think it was tested just one time. Then there is something called project initiation document. Again, this relates to project management. It's a very specific document used in project management. So project manage initiation document, you will need to memorize the content. You will need to memorize the content or the headings of a project initiation document. So these are the contents: scope and objective. It should have cost benefit. Then we have to talk about project sponsor, project manager, project team, and so forth. Around 9 or 10 items are included in a project initiation document, this portion. But do we need to draft a PID in the exam? No. So far, the examiner has never asked you to draft a project initiation. What the examiner does is he provides you with a project initiation document. There are some mistakes, some errors in that document, and you are supposed to identify the mistakes, the errors, and the omissions. All right. So if you remember the content, you will be easily able to identify the missing elements or the mistakes in the project initiation document. Is that clear, guys? PID. Now, many times in all the paper, the examiner will ask you identify the weakness and give recommendation. Or sometimes instead of weakness, he will ask identify the risks and give recommendations. Okay, same thing, weakness or recommendation. Whenever you get these two requirements together, identify and give recommendation, I would always prefer a tabular format, a two-column table. On one side, we will write the weakness, and then on the right side, we will give its recommendation, then weakness number 2, and followed by its recommendation. Same applies if you have to identify any risk and give recommendations. You can use the same concept, two table column. On left side, you will mention the risk. On right side, you will mention the recommendations. Why do I? So, all right. Is tabular format mandatory? No. Tabular format is not mandatory. You can also write in paragraph form, like one paragraph on weakness, second paragraph on the recommendation. But I personally prefer tabular format because it will simplify the layout, and it will be faster. better from an exam stressful point of view. All right. Somebody is asking me a very stupid question. Actually, I don't like answering stupid question. But Sakib is asking, so we write in exam as a table. God help you, my boy. Why the hell will I tell you something which you will not do in the exam? Can you just improve the quality of your answer questions, please? Huh? Can we insert table in the exam? That can be an intelligent question. Can we make table in the exam or the CBE platform? Can we make a table in the CBE platform? I don't know. You guys tell me. Yes. Let me close this. I will open the word processor. Can you see this table? I will click here. I will click on table. I need two columns and some rows. Done. So table is here now. You see, you can write weakness and recommendation, and then you can start drafting. Is that clear, guys? Very simple. Now, so we have done all the formats. The most important format is report, briefing note, briefing paper, memo, email, presentation slides. These are the important ones. Letter, press release, business case, or project initiation document are less important. Any questions on the format? I will share this handout and you can memorize the format. And with practice, 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 you will become. Now, are you guys ready to solve a past paper? Now you know all the formats. Now, can we attempt the past papers? Yes? No, 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 no. No, no, no. No, Asad. No, you're still not ready because there are five professional skills worth 20 marks. So you should be expert in all the professional skills. Then only we can attempt full paper, right? All right, let's spend some time on professional skills. So there are five professional skills in your paper: evaluation skill, analysis skills, communication skills, commercial acumen skill, and skepticism skill. Total marks 20. Professional skills carries 20 marks. Do you know what is the total marks of the entire paper? What is the total marks for SBL? 100 marks. Now, what percentage professional mark is as compared to total marks? Professional marks is what percentage? 20%. 20% means 1/5 of the paper, right? That's a lot. So, to cut the long story short, professional marks represent 1/5 or 20% of your total paper. If you score good marks in professional skills, you will easily pass because you have secured your 20 marks. Now you just need remaining 30 marks to cross the 50 line. But if you screw up in professional marks, it will be very challenging, right? So I I call them cash marks. For me, it is cash marks. It's easy to score, low hanging fruit. So I want all of you to be very good in professional skills so that you can score good marks upfront. All right. So the first skill is evaluation skill, which simply means assess situations or proposal or arguments in a balanced way. That is giving both pros and cons so that sound decision making can be done by the board. So evaluation means that you are evaluating something. You are looking at the pros and cons, you are looking at the advantages, the disadvantages of that proposal so that the board can take informed decisions based on your evaluation. Okay, so let me explain this in simple words. Whenever the examiner says demonstrate evaluation skill, you have to mention both pros and cons. That's hint number one. That when you are drafting your points, make sure that you include both positive points and negative points because it says na balanced way. Balanced means you have to focus on both aspects, the good aspects and the bad aspects, right? There has to be balanced. The second thing is pros and cons do not have to be equal quantity. For example, if you are supposed to write 10 points, how many pros and how many cons, guys? Yes, it depends on the exhibit. It depends on the availability of the information. There is no hard and fast rule that five will be positive points and five will be negative points. No, Ananya, bad one. From the exhibit. Okay. If you require 10 points, it can be 8 positive and 2 negatives. That's perfectly fine. Or it can be vice versa as well. 2 positive, 8 negative. It all depends on the exhibit, right? The third thing is sometimes the examiner will say critically evaluate. The word critically comes from the word criticize. And criticize means finding errors, finding issues, finding faults, finding mistakes. Criticize. When it says critically evaluate, what does it mean? It simply means that you have to focus more on identifying negative points. So, yes, there can be one or two positive points, that's fine, but the majority of your points should be negatives. 80% points should be negative. Clear, guys? Everybody clear on evaluation skill, yes or no? Good. The second skill is analysis skills. Again, very, very simple. Analysis skills simply means that you have to identify the reason or the root cause. Identify the reason or the root cause of any issue, any problem, any variance. What is the reason? What is the root cause of this problem? So let's take an example. So in today's, right now, some students are not able to join this webinar the because the mm, capacity is restricted to 300 students and the capacity is full. What is the root cause of this? Why did this problem happen? Capacity, right? It's not about joining late. There's a capacity issue. But is right. And why did the capacity issue happen? You see, I'm trying to identify the root cause. Why did this capacity issue happen? Now, when I will talk to these guys tomorrow, what should I ask them? I will talk to this technical team tomorrow and I will ask them what? That why did you not increase the capacity? So what is the root cause? That those idiots did not increase the capacity. Root cause. So the first reason is there's a capacity issue. But why did it happen? Why did we face the capacity issue? Because the technical teams were not anticipating this much students and they forgot to increase the capacity. Root cause. Drill deep, dig deep, deep, deep till you identify the main issue. Do you understand how a CFO operates? Analysis skills simply means identifying the reason or the root cause of any issues or variances. Good. So as long as you identify the issues, the reasons or the issues in your answer, you will get analysis skills marks. From where you will identify the issues in your exam? The exhibit. Everything will be there in the exhibit. So you will read the exhibit. You will think that what is the reason, what is the issue, the root cause, and explain that to the examiner that listen, this is the reason or the root cause. And done. Analysis skills completed. Any questions on analysis skills? Yes or no? All right, good. The third one is called communication skill. Again, very simple. Just make sure that you use proper formats. Keep your role in mind. Keep the role of the reader in mind. Use professional tone of drafting. So use proper formats. Let's talk about this one. Use proper formats. So I have shown you all the formats, right? So if you make proper formats, that's done. Then you have to keep your role in mind. From where you will find out your role. Remember in the start I showed you from where you will find out your role from the landing page. Yes. So now your role can be either of the two types. There are two type of roles. There are two type of roles. Either you will be an external advisor or an external consultant, okay? Or you will be an insider like an employee of the company or a manager in the company. All right? You understand internal and external role. So if you are external, you will adopt external tone of drafting. You will say you, yours, the name of the company, like you're talking to someone external. And if you are internal person, what you will adopt? Insider tone of drafting. You will see we, us, our. Understood, guys? Then you have to keep the role of the reader in mind, whom you are writing to. And normally in SBL, you will be writing to senior executives like finance director, or you're writing to the board, you're writing to the CEO. So obviously, you have to be respectful. You cannot use slang language. He's not your friend, he's much more senior. So you have to keep the reader in mind to whom you are talking. And then, of course, professional tone goes without saying that your drafting should be professional tone, right? You should not seem like a casual romantic chat. No, professional drafting. That's it. So, communication skill, nothing has to be done. You just need to be careful with the format, your role, the reader's role, and the professional tone. Is that clear, guys? The fourth one is actually also very easy, but somehow you students underestimate yourself. It's not difficult. Commercial acumen skill. Do you think a good CFO should have knowledge of the business or only finance? Of course, right? A good CFO should have overall knowledge of the business. In why? Why should he know or have overall knowledge of the business? Because every department, every function ultimately has a financial impact. Do you understand what I said? All functions, all other departments ultimately has an impact on P&L, right? Or balance sheet. So ultimate impact is financial. So that is why the CFO should have a good understanding of the business so that he understands how it impacts the numbers, how it impacts my profitability, all those things. So I'm a CFO, right? Do you think I understand marketing a little bit? Am I able to talk to the marketing director to understand what he's saying? I can ask counter questions. Yes, I do have that little bit of knowledge. You don't need to be expert, but basic common sense should be there, right? All right. In our company, one of the biggest cost is salaries, staff costs. So do you think I have some basic knowledge about HR, and am I able to talk to the HR director? Yes, I know basic HR, salaries, recruitment, training, bonuses, incentive, targets, motivation, staff engagement activities, award ceremonies, succession planning. I understand all these things. Turnover, yes. Do you understand these words? Did you understand these words? It's common sense, right? So, commercial acumen simply means that you have some basic knowledge of the whole business or the various other departments. Do you guys understand IT? Do you guys understand IT? When I say IT, now who the hell is this? Sana, you don't understand IT? Then drop SBL. If you underestimate yourself, there is no room for you in SBL. Don't you know what is website? Don't you know what is a software, hardware, online, e-marketing, e-business? You don't understand these words? Security, passwords, OTPs, backups. What the hell are you talking about? That's it. All of you have good understanding. Is just that you are being idiots and underestimating yourself. All right. Let me ask one question. The sales revenue of the company fell by 20% this year. The sales or revenue of the company fell by 20%. Can you give me three possible reasons why how the revenue could have fall? Poor marketing, poor product, lower demand, increasing in operating cost, no competition, bad economy, staff turnover, obsolete, loss of customer, idiot. Why the hell we lost customer? Don't give me bullshit answers. Lower selling price, substitute products, customer change of taste, very interesting, inflation, disposable income, recession, poor quality, yeah, taxes. Under Perfect, done. Done. So this is commercial acumen. All the reasons you are telling me, bad marketing, poor quality, high competition, substitute product, recession, disposable income, inefficiency, staff turnover, these are commercial acumen. Is that clear, guys? Again, you don't have to do anything. Everything will be there in the exhibit. Everything will be there in the exhibit. Use when you talk about customers, when you talk about competition, when you talk about market share, strengths, weakness, opportunities, risk, technology, marketing, human resource, data, all this is business knowledge. Clear, guys? Everybody clear on commercial acumen? Just basic business sense, basic business knowledge, customers, suppliers, competitors, staff, technology, external environment. Done. All right. The last one is skepticism skills. Skepticism, the word skepticism comes from the word skeptical. And what is the meaning of the word skeptical? Do you know? Skeptical means questioning mind, doubtful, challenging, asking, questioning. Can I say that a good CFO should trust everybody on face value? A good CFO should trust everything on face value? No, he will lose his job. He will be screwed. So, a good CFO should have good judgmental qualities. He should ask questions, counter questions, ask for more details, breakups, more clarification. He should challenge something, not accepting everything on face value, trying to gather more evidence to support the facts and the arguments. Correct? Yes. Now, how do we demonstrate skepticism in our exam? There are many ways. We can use these words. I've made a long list. You can use words like I disagree. When you disagree, you are showing skepticism. You are pushing back, you are challenging. Or you say it seems incorrect. Or you can say it seems unrealistic. Or you can say it's not clear to me. Or you can say should be further investigated. Or you can say it's not adequate. Or you can ask any intelligent questions to seek more clarity. So many ways. Unethical, no Jaya. Depending on the scenario, but unlikely. You understand? That you should not accept everything on face value. You can ask counter question, you can ask for more details, or you can push back, or you can say I disagree. But whenever you disagree, you have to give a logic, right? You cannot say I disagree because I don't like your face. Can you say that? Can I say to the marketing director, hey, I don't agree with you because I don't like your shirt. You're dirty, you're smelly. No. If I say I disagree, then I will have to give my logic. It's all about logical arguments on in the board. My reasons and my logic. Okay. And can I be disrespectful? Caleb, refrain. Can I be, even if I disagree or challenge someone, can never be disrespectful. I have to be professional. I have to be courteous. I cannot be very aggressive, but logical and firm. Understood? Professional behavior. Now, one last thing on skepticism. So, supposing we are we are expected to write 10 points. So, in how many points are we supposed to show skepticism? In all the points or few points? 2 points is enough. Okay. Skepticism skills carries 4 marks. So, 2 points, maximum 3 paragraphs. You can push back, you can disagree. Bhule, I told you no irrelevant questions. Only discuss what's being discussed on the slide. Do you want me to throw you out? Is that clear, guys? Oh, I'm sorry, Bule. Sorry. I read your last line later on. My apologies. All right. Sorry, man. So skepticism, it's not possible to show skepticism in each and every point, right? But at least two or three paragraphs. All right. Done. Now, overall, when we talk about professional skills, there are two important things. Number one, examiner acknowledges that English is not the first language for many students. Correct? So, for all the Indians, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Asian countries, English is not the first language. So, examiner does not expect um, uh, great grammar or great vocabulary. He does not expect that. Yes, correct. But what is he expecting? He's not testing your English here. The examiner is looking for the ability to express points clearly, factually, and concisely in a convincing manner. That's all he is looking for. So, those of you who feel that my English is not good, bullshit. Your English is not being tested. But of course, your baseline English should be sufficient so that you are able to express your points clearly so that he understands your argument. Is that clear, guys? That's an interesting point, eh? That it doesn't matter if your English is weak or weak grammar, but you should be able to express your thoughts so that he understands. So I live in Dubai, right? And in Dubai, there are people from 190 countries working in Dubai. How many countries, guys? In Dubai, there are people from 190 countries. 90% of the people in Dubai are from outside. So in my company, I have 15 nationalities working under me. 15 nationalities under me in my company. You think their English is good? Most of them are not Europeans. So we are not into English, but at least they should be able to think properly. That's the first thing. And then at least they should be able to communicate their points clearly. This you need to develop in you, right? And the second important thing as per the examiner is that prioritizing important and crucial points first rather than smaller or minor points. This is also part of professionalism. You see, the board is always more interested in important and crucial points. They don't want to waste their time in stupid, petty matters, right? So, whenever you are drafting your points, try to pick up important, crucial, material points rather than talking about petty stuff, which doesn't really change the scenario. All right, agreed? Done, guys? Any questions on professional skills? We discussed 5 professional skills. All of them are pretty straightforward. Only when you are doing skepticism skill, only when we are doing skepticism skill, you have to make sure that you use certain words in your drafting, like I disagree, or I don't understand, it's incorrect, it's unrealistic, or adopt a questioning tone. Don't forget in skepticism that you have to use these certain wordings. Otherwise, you will not get skeptical marks. All right. So now you guys are ready for past paper solving. Ah, that's the spirit. Not yet. I'm so sorry to disappoint you guys, but still is one more thing is left, and that is called exam techniques. Once we know the exam techniques, then we will attempt the past paper so that we can apply all those things while drafting and practicing past papers. All right. So, guys, can we take a break here, a quick break? And then, because exam techniques is a intense segment, so let's take a 20-minute break is okay? You can eat your food, say your prayers, whatever, and then come back with a fresh mind. It is 8 p.m. here in Dubai, so 8 to 8:20 p.m. Dubai. Okay, so be very punctual. 20-minute means 20 minutes. All right, guys. See you in 20 minutes. All right, guys. Can we start? All right. So now uh, the most important segment for today's webinar is the exam techniques. And this is equally important for all my paid students as well. You see, it doesn't matter how much effort you are making before the exam. What matters is those 3 hours and 15 minutes of the real exam. How you are performing in that 3 hours and 15 minutes, that is the main thing, right? And the exam technique is basically a make or break. Either you can pass with good marks if you properly follow exam techniques, or you might struggle. So, very, very critical thing to understand and then apply during our practice sessions. So, the first thing I want to talk about is time management. You know that the paper, the total allowed time is 3 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, that's the standard for SBL, 3 hours, 15-minute paper. What I suggest is that you spend 10 minutes on planning and the remaining 185 minutes on drafting. Okay, the first 10 minutes, I want you to plan because a good attack is not possible unless you plan for it. Now, what do we do in the first 10 minutes? What do we plan? When I say let's spend 10 minutes on planning, what are we supposed to do? So first of all, once you open the paper, the first thing you will see is the landing page. So immediately I will read my role and the date. Okay. I will look at the reading page and I will identify my role and the date. That's pretty straightforward. 5-second job. Then what would you like to do? Would you like to go through the requirements quickly? What do you normally do when you see a paper? What I do is I first browse through the requirements so that I know what are the topics, what are the tasks, what are the topics which has been given to me, just to kill the suspense, to be mentally prepared. Agreed? So let's look at the tasks. है ना? So the task is, I will on the landing page. Let's take this paper. So on the landing page, can you let me know what is our role and the date? What is our role and the date? Can you let me know from this landing page? Our role is Stranard Consultants. Straightforward. That I will check out. And the date is September X3. That's very clear. Now, the second thing is I want to look at the tasks. So let's look at task number 1. Task number 1. Okay, let me show you one thing before. Let me open task number 2. So normally every task has 3 components. Okay. Every task has 3 components. How many, guys? 3 components. Each task will have 3 components. Which are those components? Number 1 is the background of the requirement. This portion is called the background. The unbold portion is the background. The second component is the technical requirement. This one, which is the bold portion. This is called the technical requirement. And the third one is called the professional skill requirement. Okay. You see, there are 3 components for each task: the background, followed by the technical requirement, followed by professional skills requirement. Now, what is a technical requirement? Any idea? Technical requirement simply means what exactly the examiner wants you to do, the question itself, the main requirement, what you are supposed to do. And the professional skill will tell you which professional skills you need to demonstrate. Correct? If you look at task number B, if I scroll down, again, you will see 3 parts. Can you see the three components? There is this portion is the background, the unbold one, followed by the technical requirement, 10 marks, followed by professional skills, 4 marks. Is the layout clear? Yes or no? All right. Now going back to task number 1. Same layout. There's a background. There is a technical requirement in bold, followed by professional skills. Now, why I'm telling you all this? That in the first 10 minutes, what are we supposed to read? Should we read the entire background, the technical and professional for task one, then task two, then task three? That will take a lot of time. Right now, we just quickly want to understand what are the topics required. So, which one should we read? The background, the technical, or the professional? Which one will tell you what exactly is required? The technical required. Yes. Rest is the background and the professionals. We can read it later, right? We can read that later. Right now, I just want to read the technical requirement. So, part one, it says advise the financial, non-financial benefits and drawback of the investment project and recommend reasons which should be chosen. So we have to discuss the benefits and drawback of some project. Now, where is task number two? Next page. Okay, I will click next. Task number two. What is 2A? Write a letter which assess the proposal to establish strategy committee. So there is a question on strategy committee. So what was the first question, guys? Something about proposal, right? Shut up, Abu Bakr. The first part was so evaluate a proposal or a project. The second one is about strategy committee. What about 2B? How employee dissatisfaction may impact upon each stage of the organizational change process. Okay. Now let's move to task number 3. Evaluate the adequacy of the risk mitigating activities, and this is about marketing methods. Okay. Now, can you guys tell me all the 5 requirements we read? Do you remember all of them? Or did you forget as you were reading ahead? Obviously, I don't remember. I can remember some, but not all, right? Do you understand? If you read you see, all the requirements are scattered. They are on 3 pages. They are not in one place. So when I read them one by one, I tend to forget what was asked before. I don't know about you. You, my guys might be Superman or Superwoman, but I cannot remember, right? What do we do then? So what I normally do is I first bring all the technical requirements on one page. I copy all the technical requirement on one page. Then I read them. So that if I have to go back again, it's all there in one page. Do you understand? So where do we copy all the requirements? Just the technical, where do we copy them? The technical requirement. We will not use the word processor. Okay, we should not copy the requirements on the word processor. We should use this scratch pad. How much time do you think it will consume if we copy paste all the technical requirements? How much time it should take? 1 or 2 minutes? Yeah. Maximum 2. You have to be fast, huh? Maximum 2. Shall I do it in front of you and can you time me? Okay. So I will open the Scratchpad. I will open this. I will put the Scratchpad on one side. I will Control C, Control V, close, next task, Control C, Control V, then Control C, Control V, task 3, Control C, Control V, and then this one, Control C. I'm done. Time up. How much time it took me? 1 minute? 48 seconds? Right. Less than 1 minute. Let's say 1 minute because I am a bit fast. It might take you 2 minutes, and with more practice, it will reduce, right? So I did not read the task. I just quickly copy pasted the technical requirement. Okay. Now I will read. The first one is saying Control A, Control B. Okay. It says benefits and drawbacks of the investment project. The second one is assess his proposal of strategy committee. The third one is how employee dissatisfaction can affect. The fourth one is evaluate the risk mitigation activities and give recommendation. And the fifth one is assess the benefits of e-marketing. You see now it is very simple. It is in front of me in one page. I have bolded that this one is some investment project, this one is about strategy committee, some employee dissatisfaction, risk mitigation, e-marketing. Now I know the topics. Is that clear, guys? Now, do we have exhibits? So there we have exhibits, right? There is one exhibit which shows overview of investment project, strategy committee, staff reaction, risk mitigation, marketing. Okay. Now the first task is benefits and drawback of the investment project. Which exhibit do you think, can you guess from the name? Is there any exhibit on investment project? Yeah, so I will just write here uh, exhibit 1. I will just cross-refer exhibit 1 so that I've mentioned what's happening. Exhibit 1. Okay. Is there any exhibit on strategy committee? Because we have to link our answers with the exhibit. Do we have any? Yeah, strategy committee. Wow. Exhibit 2. Then how employee dissatisfaction may impact upon each stage. Is there any exhibit about employees or staff? Yeah, this exhibit is strategy committee and staff reaction. I can also open up and see it staff reaction. Okay. Change process. Yeah, so this one is also which exhibit? Exhibit 2. Is there any exhibit on risk mitigation? Yo, this one is exhibit 3. Any exhibit on marketing? This one, exhibit 4. Done. What did I do? I just cross-reference the exhibits with the tasks. Okay. Now what? So we now know all the requirements and we have kind of identified the relevant exhibits. We have cross-referenced the exhibits based on the requirement and the names of the exhibit. Now what do? We are planning, right? No, no, forget about format. No, no, no. Yes, Shriyan, Sohail. Very good. Now we will. So now let me ask you a question. Which task should we start from? Now we know all the tasks. This is task number one. This is task number two, A, B, three, A, B. Which question should we start drafting? That's the question which comes to the mind, right? There are two options, guys. Some students are saying we should start with task number one, which means follow the sequence, right? The other option is we should start with easier or familiar task first. Stop chatting. Don't go overboard. Basically, there are two options, guys. Either you start sequentially 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B. That's a suicidal approach. The second option, which I prefer, is I always will start with easy question first. Why? So that we can secure. So, number one, our mind is fresh. We can focus more on the easier questions to score more marks. Now, some students will say that, sir, our mind is fresh. Let's start with the difficult question. What do you think? How many of you will say that our mind is fresh? I want to start with a difficult question. Idiots, you are crazy. It will stress you out. It will disturb your time management. It will shatter your confidence. Never start with difficult question. Yes. So I will always start with the easier question first. So now once you have the list in front of you, you go through them and then you decide which question or which topic is easy for you. Now it can vary from student to student, right? Some student might say marketing is easy. Some student might say risk management is easy. Some student might say strategy committee is easy. It doesn't matter. Wherever you feel you are most confident, you start with that. And my paid batch students, once we start the past papers from next week, there are many topics which are repeated in the exam. I call them familiar topics. So if you see a familiar topic in which we have already done 3-4 questions in the past, you can start with them. Understood, guys? There are certain red flags. I will There are certain type of questions I will always do in the last. What did I say? There are certain type of questions which I will always push to the last, not in the start, not in the middle, but in the last 1 hour. What are those questions? Um, it can be a question which is out of the blue. I mean, you don't even understand what it is. Correct? Put it in the last. Then it can be a very new topic which we have never heard or never solved any question. It's the first time. Put it in the last. Do the familiar topics first. Then there might be a question which doesn't have any exhibit. What did I say? There might be a question which does not have any exhibit. Do it in the last. In this paper, I think every question has an exhibit, right? So doesn't apply on this paper, but in sometimes the examiner gives a requirement and there is no exhibit, which means you have to be creative, you have to use the pre-scene, you have to use your overall knowledge, consumes time. Do it in the last. And there are some specific topics, slippery topics, like culture is a very slippery topic. Change management, very slippery topic. IR, very slippery topic. So these certain 2 or 3 topics are very, you understand, slippery, subjective, difficult to write nicely, last. Time consuming, yes, last. Is that clear, guys? This is all part of the first 10 minutes planning. All part of the first 10 minutes planning. Normally, it takes 7 or 8 minutes. Okay, once you start doing past papers, you apply these techniques, it will take 7 or 8 minutes max, but I'm giving you 10 minutes just to be on the safe side. All right, done. So let's read. What have I said? Read the information, copy paste technical requirements on the scratch pad, read technical requirements to identify the topics, take a quick look at the exhibit and note exhibit number and decide the sequence of your answers. Start with easier question first. Is this clear? What you need to do in the first 10 minutes? All right. Then once you have done all this, now you will start your drafting. After the planning, you have decided which question you will start. Now you will start drafting, right? How much time do I allow? So you will follow 1.8 minutes per minute, 1.8 minutes per mark. Okay, 1.8 minutes per mark. So 1.8 multiply by total marks. So let's say task number 1. What is the total marks for task number 1? Total marks for task number 1. It is 26 plus 4. Who the hell is this? Saqib, are you crazy? Oh, total marks is 26 plus 4, 30. 30 multiplied by 1.8, 54 minutes. So we have 54 minutes to complete task number 1. Clear? All right, Saqib. Just answer the question which I'm asking. Okay, now, so what do we need to do in 54 minutes? Is it just drafting? So we have 54 minutes. Let's say 55 minutes. What do we need to do in 55 minutes? Just start drafting. No, you need to read the exhibit first, right? No, you also need to read the requirement first. The full requirement, the background, the technical requirement, the professional. We did not read that, right? We just read the technical portion in the planning. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, Dhruti. So 54 minutes is just not drafting only. There are series of activities. So the first thing is I will read the requirement. So I will read the background. I will read the technical requirement one more time to make sure I have understood the requirement. And then I will look at the professional skills, what is required. How much time it will take you guys in reading the background, the tech requirement and prof requirement? 2 minutes? Don't be relaxed. You have to read fast. 2 minutes. Okay. Now, after reading the requirement, is there any format required in this question? Report format. So then I will make the format first. I will open my word processor and I will make the format report, to, from, subject, date, introduction and closure. How much time it will take you to make the report format? Just the template, to, from, subject, 2-3 minutes. All right. Can I say total 5 minutes in reading the requirement properly and making the format? 4 to 5 minutes? Done. Okay. Then what I will do? Then I need to read the exhibit. I will open the exhibit. Let's look at the exhibit. It's a one pager, not very lengthy, but of course you have to read it, understand it, identify some points. Can I say 5 minutes for reading this? Because it's not a very lengthy exhibit. It's mostly numbers and table. 5 minutes? Okay. So total 10 minutes gone, right? So out of 54 minutes, 10 minutes we spent on reading the requirement, making the format, and reading the exhibit. 44 minutes left. That is where you will need to draft all the points. Okay, 44 to 45 minutes. That is where you will start actually typing your points, sharing your thoughts, sharing your logic, sharing the impact. Is that clear, guys? This discipline is very, very important if you want to tackle SBL paper in a structured, professional manner. If you go unplanned here and there, this and that, you will panic and you will stress and you will freeze and then you will not be able to give the output, the quality product. And then I will see you again in September, right? Come on. No, exactly. So, guys, follow this discipline, okay? So 1.8 minute is the total allowed time for drafting, but you have to do a lot of reading doing. You have to read the requirement, you have to read the make the format, and you have to um, uh, read the exhibit and then draft. So it's too much pressure, huh? Too much speed. You cannot afford to be slow or relaxed or trying to give a perfect answer. No, not possible. Yeah, you have to run fast. All right. Now, guys, what will happen if the allowed time is up and still your answer is not complete? What will you do? You see, in this requirement, 54-minute was there. 54-minute was allowed. You started everything, but you were not able to complete your answer, and 54-minute is up. What do you do? Naveed, never. So, guys, a lot of you are saying that we will leave and move on. Correct? Most of you, majority of you are saying that then we will move on to the next question. Bullshit. It is easier said than done. All of you are saying right now in emotional flow that we will leave and move on, but you need guts to do that. So, all of you promise me right now that you will leave and move on. Right? Promise. Good. All right. So, yes, if the allowed time is up, just complete that one paragraph or one point which you were doing. Complete that one point. Maybe it might take one extra minute and move on to the next question. Right? Now, someone will say, and then, sir, we will lose marks. Is that correct? If your answer is incomplete and you move on, will you lose marks? Of course, you will lose marks. That's correct. But first, attempt all the questions. And in the end, if you have time, you can come back and complete. Do you understand? In the end, if you have 5-10 minutes left, and I will teach you how you can save 5-10 minutes, you can always come back and add one more point. But do not overrun the time at that time. You have to move on. Later on, you can come back. All right, guys. How do you guys keep track of time? How do you know that 54-minute is up? How any technique, any idea? How would you keep track that now 54-minute is up? So there's a timer on your screen, right? Are you supposed to wear a watch in the exam center? No, right? Wristwatch is not allowed. But there is a timer on your screen, but that timer, stupid timer, is reverse timer. Correct? It is going in reverse. So what do we do? Then how do we calculate? Then you subtract 54 minutes and calculate the reverse time. You minus 54 minutes from that time and you write that time somewhere on your answer sheet. So whatever works for you, what I'm saying is whatever works for you, but you need to keep track of the time. Note the time somewhere that at this time I will stop and move. No fizza. This will not work because you might start with question number 3 first, right? All right, guys, done? Clear? Any question on time management? Very, very important. Any question, guys, on time management? Okay. Now, the second thing is linking your answers with the exhibit. Again, it's mandatory to link your answers with the exhibit. General answers, theoretical answers, 0 mark. So from where you will link your answers with the exhibits? Very simple. You will read the exhibit and copy paste important information on the answer sheet. My paid students, you know all this, right? No, Samuel. So you will read the exhibit, you will identify some important facts, figures, issues, and copy that sentence and paste it on your answer sheet, and then you can elaborate on them. Clear? But now, supposing there is no exhibit or the exhibit is very small, there is very few points on the exhibits and we require more points, then what you will do? Supposing there is no exhibit, then what you will do? From where you will identify the points? Pre-scene, yes. There are two sources. One is pre-scene and one is the background of the requirement. What did I say? If there is no exhibit, doesn't matter. Then I will use my pre-scene knowledge. Is the pre-scene available in your portal, in your exam day? Yes, the pre-scene is there, right? So then you will open the pre-scene and you will look for information in the pre-scene. And what is the second source? Background of the task. Background. Background. What overview of, sir? What the hell you are saying? Background of the requirement. Okay, these are two sources from where we will try to find some information. Which one will you look for first? In the background or in the pre-scene? Shriyan, idiot, there is no pre-scene. There is no exhibit. So now we have to look at pre-scene and the background. Which one you will look first? Yes, we should first check the background information. First check the background because that's small, right? You can quickly see whether there is something there or not. And then move to pre-scene. Is that clear, guys? So I just explained that if there is no exhibit, then you will first look at the background and then you will look at the pre-scene to get your points. but no general theoretical answer. Huh? Now, supposing there is an exhibit, but very limited information is there, insufficient information. Then what you will do? Same. After reading the exhibit, if you feel that there is less information on the exhibit, then I will read the background, then I will read the pre-scene to find more points. So basically, this is the main formula. This is what you will end up with. 80 to 90% of your answers will be from the exhibit. This is from my experience from the various past papers. 80 to 90% you will be using the exhibits, and the pre-scene and the background will be used 10 or 20% only. Okay. A lot of students, they tend to ignore the exhibit and they use pre-scene to draft their answer. Failure. Your answer 80% should be from the exhibits, and in case, or even 100% if all the exhibits are there. But in case if the exhibits are missing or they are very short, then you use the background and the pre-scene to fill the gap. Everybody clear on this, guys? Yes or no? Very good. Now use the following from pre-scene whenever you get a chance. There are couple of things in the pre-scene which I always want you to use in your answer. What are those things? Organize, organizations, goals or values or objective. Try to use it wherever you get a chance. You will get extra marks. Or any financial information or statistics and KPI. So in the pre-scene, there will always be KPIs given. For example, if I open X Marine, this is an old paper, but let me check whether, you see in the pre-scene, you see some KPIs, GP margin, OP margin, ROS margin, number of new customers are. Try to use the financial information or KPIs in your answer wherever you get a chance. It will show good professional skill and will get you extra mark. Is this clear? Now, each point should start with a statement of fact. This is how we will link with the scenario, right? That each point will start with a statement of fact picked up from the exhibit or the background or the pre-scene. And then you will elaborate the impact on it. Now, statement of fact should be what size? Should it be like 2, 3 lines? No. Whenever you are picking something from the exhibit, keep it short, maximum 1 line or less. Not 1 to 2 line, maximum 1 line. Eh? Just pick up the main sentence from the exhibit. Do not copy the entire paragraphs. Just key sentence, punchline. All right. Now let's talk about number of points. So giving the right number of points is very, very important. And of course, the number of points depends on the marks. If the marks is high, then you require more number of points. If the marks is low, then you give less number of points. So number of points is calculated based on marks. So what formula I follow? So normally one well-drafted point carries 2 marks. Okay. One well-drafted point carries 2 marks. So my formula is very simple. How do we calculate number of points? Total marks divide by 2 and then minus 1. Total marks divide by 2 minus 1 should be your number of points. So for a 10 marks question, how many points should we write? 10. Idiot Heather. Heather, you planned for September, boy. For 10 marks question, how many points? 10 divided by 2 minus 1. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 minus 1, 4. Khalas, 4 points. That's it. All right, one more. 18 marks question. How many points? 18 divided by 2, 9, 9. 18 divided by 2. How many points? 8 points. Very good. 24 marks. 11 points. Very good. Now, little complication. 15 marks. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. 7.5 minus 1 is 6.5. So 6 to 7. 6 or 7, depending on your speed. 6.5 means what? 6 or 7, right? So depending on your speed, 6 points, but if you have time, 7 points. Is that clear, guys? 19 marks. 19 divided by 2 is 8.5. No. 19 divided by 2 is how much, guys? 9.19 divided by 2 is 9.5 minus 1 is 8.5. So 8 to 9 points, correct? At least 8 points, and if you have time, 9 points. But minimum 8. 8 to 9 means minimum 8, maximum 9. All right, done. This is how you will calculate. Now, 1 point is 1 para. So don't try to mix all your points in one paragraph. Each point should be a separate paragraph. So if you are supposed to write 10 points, then how many paragraphs should I expect to see? Yes, each point is 1 para. So if 10 points are required, then I want to see 10 paragraphs. I will count the number of paragraphs. Good. Now there are few exceptions to this rule. Sometimes the question says identify the weakness and give recommendation. You remember the tabular format? Identify the weakness and give recommendation. So this will be considered as 2 requirements. Identifying the weakness is 1 point, and giving recommendation is the second, considered as a second point. So 2 marks for this, 2 marks for this. Do you understand? Supposing the question says 20 marks. How many weakness and how many recommendations you will give? I will try to give 5 weakness along with 5 recommendation. 5 each is okay, 5 each. So 5 weakness and 5 recommendation. Is that clear, guys? Okay. Sometimes the number of weakness is given in the exhibit. Sometimes the number of weakness is given in the exhibit. Yeah, Taha, we did not do -1 because of, otherwise it will not balance, right? If there are 5 weakness, 5 recommendation. Or you do 4 and 4, but that will be less. Sometimes the examiner will give you weakness and you have to talk about the impact and give recommendation. Let me give you an example. Supposing the examiner has given you 4 weaknesses. So you don't have to identify the weakness. The examiner is already given you 4 weakness. And he's saying that discuss the impact and give recommendation. Same thing. So 2 marks for impact, 2 marks for recommendation. But then how do we allocate? Let's say it is 24 marks. So if it is 24 marks and the number of weakness is already given, wait. So let me reword. It's 24 marks and 4 weaknesses have been given. It's already given to you in the exhibit that you have to talk about these 4 weaknesses. So first you will calculate marks per weakness. Do you understand that? If the weaknesses are already given, then you calculate marks per weakness. So how much marks per weakness? So 24 divided by 4. So each weakness is worth 6 marks. Each weakness worth 6 marks. Correct? How many paragraphs required for 6 marks? I would give 3 paragraphs. So maybe 2 paragraph on impact and 1 paragraph on recommendation, or 1 paragraph on impact and 2 paragraph. In total, I need to write 3 paragraphs for each weakness, covering the impact and the recommendation. This is all judgmental. It will improve through practice. But do you understand the basic formula? Same rule applies on presentation slides. Sometimes the examiner will tell you the number of slides required. Not sometimes, every time. The examiner always tells you prepare 2 presentation slides. Okay. Examiner will tell you prepare 2 presentation slides and it is 12 marks. First, I will calculate marks per slide. So one slide is how much marks? 12 divided by 2, 6 points. So how many paragraphs required on each slide? 3 paragraphs required for each slide. So slide number 1 will have 3 bullets or 3 paragraphs. And then slide number 2 will have 3 paragraphs. Total 6 paragraphs for 12 marks. Clear, guys? So this is all mental planning, mental maths, mental calculation of how many points I have to write so that you don't overrun the time. All right, let's move on. Format of your answer. So prepare the format before you attempt the question. That's fine. Use information to start your point, which is statement of fact. Okay. Paragraph style of drafting. So guys, in SBL, your drafting has to be in paragraph form, not bullets, huh? Proper paragraphs, formal drafting. So you adopt a paragraph. Now, what should be the size of your paragraph or length of your paragraph? It should not be very small because then you will not get good marks. It should not be very lengthy paragraphs because if you write long philosophical paragraphs, then your time management, it will consume more time and you will not be able to complete the task in the allowed time. Logical? So my suggestion is, the rule of thumb is, each paragraph should be maximum 3 to 4 lines, including the statement of fact. Sometimes it can be a little bit small, sometimes it can be a little bit bigger, but majority of the times the ideal size of your point is 3 to 4 lines, including statement of fact. Okay. So if you write long statement of fact, then you see you will not be elaborating. Miguel, this will be covered tomorrow. All right. Try to give subheadings for each point if possible. So try to give subheadings for each point. If it's not mandatory, but if you give proper subheadings for each point, it will give a professional impression and you will get 1 extra professional mark for each question. Leave 1 line between each para. Why am I saying that? Why should we leave 1 blank line between each para? Ali Rahat, use your common sense. Yes, leave 1 line between each para because number 1, it will look professional, neat and clean. And number 2, the examiner will be able to quickly count the number of points. It will be easier for the examiner, right? If he wants to see how many points or how many paragraphs, so if the paragraphs are, displayed with gaps, he can easily count and see from a presentation point of view, it looks neat and clean. How do you leave 1 line between each para? How can we leave 1 line? What do we need to do? Just press enter button 2 times instead of 1 time. As simple as that. It will not even take 1 millisecond. Instead of pressing enter one time, press it two times, and there will be one line gap. All right. Easy, easy win. Use tabular format for weakness and recommendation questions. Don't use models unnecessarily. Some students, some theoretical students, they think that SBL, every question is about using a model. No. So don't try to forcefully use a model. If you can use a simple model, or even if you don't use a model, but if you give logical answers, you will get full marks. Okay? It's not mandatory to use a model unless the examiner says use this model. All right. Now, guys, common sense question. Why am I discussing common sense question? Because more than 50% of your paper is common sense, guys. More than 50%. So you need to properly handle these questions. So what is the meaning of common sense question? So a common sense question is a question where you don't require any theoretical or bookish knowledge. You just read the exhibit and apply your logical thinking to answer the question. Now, this is good news for some students, and this is bad news for some students. So, those students who are not bookish, they are not into theory, memorizing stuff, but they are street smart, they want to use their own brain in thinking, it's good news for them. And this is bad news for those students who are used to reading book, memorizing things, just reproducing from the theoretical knowledge. You are gone because no theoretical knowledge is required. You need logical thinking. That is why I say SBL is easy. Because you don't have to study a lot of theory. Unlike SBR or audit, you have to memorize so many things. Baba, 50% paper is common sense. Even if you don't touch the book, if you use your logical thinking, you can answer it. But the problem is bloody logical thinking. That is not there in you guys. And it's not your fault. Unfortunately, all your other ACCA papers is making you bookish students. And SBL, it's the first time it's, throwing you a common sense question. So, I mean, but what to do? You have to do it, right? You don't have a choice. Acha, all of you have common sense. I know that. I know that all of you have common sense and logical thinking. How many of you think that you don't have common sense or logical thinking? Write me. Come on. Anybody who thinks that you don't have common sense or logical thinking, write me. You all have it. The only thing is either you doubt yourself or you are not polished enough. Amrata is saying she doesn't have. Amrata, are you sure? Sahil, are you sure? Supposing Amrata and Sahil, you are going on a secret date with someone. Will you plan for it? That we should go in a place where nobody can see us, some timing during class hours, I can sneak out if someone calls. So, what is all this? Common sense, right? So, don't underestimate yourself. All you just need is little bit of polishing in order to handle SBL. Okay. All right, guys. So, what are the examples of common sense questions? What are the examples? When I say 50% paper is common sense, what kind of questions? Mostly it is about evaluating a proposal. They will give you a proposal. The examiner will give you a proposal and he will ask you to evaluate the pros and cons. So no theoretical knowledge required. You just need to read the exhibit and think about the positive things, think about the negative things. Guys, stop it, okay? Then sometimes they ask you to give recommendations. So if they give you a weakness, they will ask you, please give recommendation how we can fix this problem. Again, you see, you can think. Guys, Amanullah, Amrata, stop it, huh? Enough. Don't get carried away. Now, how do we handle common sense question? The best technique is this one. Best technique. And once you join my revision classes, you will understand what I'm saying. The best technique of common sense question is pause for 30 seconds and think, then start drafting. Gather your thoughts first. And I do this every day in my professional life as CFO. If someone comes me and asks me a random or a logical question, I don't reply immediately in reaction. I take my time. I think, and then I reply. So it always helps that whenever we get a common sense question, do not start drafting immediately. Think for 30, 40 seconds, gather your thoughts, think about the pros of the proposal, think about some negative points. Once you are a little bit clear in your head, then start. Because logical thinking means that you have to think, right? So pause, think 30, 40 seconds, and then start drafting. Is that clear? All right. And then, of course, practice. The more we will solve common sense questions, your skill will get more polished. You will understand how a CFO thinks or how a leader thinks. So practice. All right, let's move on. The last one is a bouncer question. What is a bouncer question? Can you guess from the name? Those of you who are familiar with cricket knows what a bouncer is. Bouncer is, it goes above your head. Yeah. This is not the bouncer in dance club or, he's not the clubbing wala bouncer. This bouncer is the cricket wala. It's a question which goes over your head, meaning that you're not, you just try to protect yourself. every paper there is a bouncer question. Every paper. No matter how well you prepare, no matter 10,000 books you have read, doesn't matter. Every paper, there is a bouncer question. Why? The examiner deliberately includes one bouncer question. Why? Because he wants to test whether you get stressed out. Time trap. Yes, he wants to check whether you have the material to become a good CFO. He wants to confuse you. He wants to see whether you are able to deliver in a stressful, difficult environment by giving you one confusing or a difficult question to make you panic. Now, those of you who will panic after seeing the bouncer question, I will see you in September, right? So, the first thing is you should be mentally prepared that there will be a bouncer question so that you are not surprised or caught off guard. Is that clear? In fact, I actually look for the bouncer question. Where the hell is that question? So that I will just ignore it towards the last. I will push it in the last. Okay, so be prepared. There is always a bouncer question in every paper. So the first thing is, since we are already expecting it, no need to panic. Since we are already expecting it, then there is no need to panic. Then we will manage it. Is that clear? Okay. Now, what do we do when we come across a bouncer question? And you will identify a bouncer question. There are many indicators. A bouncer question can be something which you don't even, yeah, I'm giving examples, Saqib. Supposing you are reading the requirement and it doesn't make any sense, or that topic is absolutely new, out of blue, or it is something like culture, change management, slippery topic, integrated reporting, or there is no exhibit. All these are red flags. Do you understand the example, guys, now? It can be anything. Either the topic is out of the blue, or there is no exhibit, no information, or it is one of those slippery topics like culture, change management, IR, bouncer. Not cloud computing, idiot. When did I use the word cloud computing? Very bad, Manur. Cloud computing is one of the easiest topics. All right. So now what do we do when we see a bouncer question? Okay, tell me, guys, when do we identify a bouncer question? At what stage will we identify? At the planning stage. Remember that scratch pad. Here only you will get an idea, okay, oh shit, this particular task, there is no exhibit. Oh my God. Or, oh my God, this topic is absolutely new for me. Oh my God. Um, this is a culture topic or a change management topic. So you will be able to identify that right in the start. Correct? Now, what do we do with that? The first thing is do it in the last. Push it in the last. That's the first thing, so that it doesn't shatter your confidence, it doesn't get you in the time trap. Before attempting bouncer, you are done with the easier questions first. You are safe. So do it in the last. And then try to write something little bit. Don't leave it blank. Don't leave it empty. You cannot leave any question blank in SBL. So you need to write something. So from where I will find something? Yeah, from the pre-scene, from the background of the requirement, just write 2 or 3 paragraphs. That's it. Is that clear, guys? Now, now, suppose the average, what is the marks for bouncer question? You know, what is the marks for bouncer question? There is no hard and fast rule. Sometimes it is 10 marks, sometimes it is 15 marks, sometimes it can be 20 marks. You understand? That's not in our control. It can be 10 marks, 15 marks, or 20 marks. Supposing it is 15 marks. Normally it is 10 to 15 marks. Normally. Let's say it is 15 marks question or 14 marks question. Okay. Guys, stop chatting. Wait. Listen to me. I'm talking something very important and I will not repeat. Supposing the bouncer question is 14 marks. The first thing is I will do it in the last, correct? Now, once I reach that question, 14 marks, how many points required? 14 divided by 2, 7, 7 minus 1, 6. 6 points. Okay. And what is the allowed time for 14 marks? So 14 into 1.8, 25 minutes. Okay. So for that bouncer question, if it is 14 marks, we require 6 points and 25 minutes. Is that correct, guys? Now, in a bouncer question, what I suggest, my strategy, I will attempt everything 50%. I will attempt everything 50%. What does that mean? That instead of 6 points, I will just try to give 3 points. Okay? And instead of using 25 minutes, I will just use 13 minutes. Okay, is that clear, guys? So now someone will say that 6 points were required. We are giving 3 points. We will lose marks, right? You will lose marks, right? Yes or no? If 6 points are required and we are giving 3 points, we will definitely lose marks. But then how many minutes are we saving from here? I'm saving 12 minutes. I will utilize this 12 minutes in the easier questions and add more points. Do you understand? So basically, you have two options, right? Either you try to give 6 points and consume the entire minute, but because it's a bouncer question, there is no exhibit, your answer might go wrong. So better you just focus on giving 3 points and utilize the time saved in easy questions. At least you can get guaranteed marks there, right? As I said, this is all easier said than done. It requires strong planning, a lot of clarity in my mind that this is what I will do. It requires guts. If you are panicked, you are gone. One last thing. Somebody asked me that what if there are two bouncer questions? Possible? It's possible in the sense that one would be real bouncer, one would be semi bouncer. Okay. So what will we do if there are two bouncers? Same strategy. The real bouncer I will do in the last. The semi bouncer I will do second last. No? If there are two bouncers, I will do it in the last. One in the last, one second last. Again, guys, all this we will be applying during our past paper practice session starting from 5th. All these techniques, there is no point in discussing and nodding your heads like this unless we apply them hands on. Then only you will get trained and polished. Is that clear? All right, done. I think we are done for the day. So, guys, my revision batch is starting from 5th of May. So, those of you who are not yet enrolled or self study, you might consider enrolling in my drafting classes. And that's the timetable. Um, every day there'll be the classes in the evening. Done. So I'm done with today, and we will continue tomorrow with day two, which means that we will start with discussion with Lubana, who is the prize winner for March in Pakistan. Technical articles. Then I will draft one question tomorrow so that you understand how we draft, how we pick up statement of facts. I will give you a list of important topics to memorize and last 4 week study plan. All right, guys. Yes, pre-scene will be there separately. Okay. So I'm done with my side. Do you have any questions relating to today's presentation before I sign off? Yes, Daniel, I saw it. Thank you. So, any questions on today's presentation? Professional skills, formats, and exam techniques. All right. So, those of you who want to enroll in the revision batch, I will just share the screen with you. Yeah, this one. That's the number and that's the investment. Okay. Who else? Timetable, I will share in the paid group, and I will share the handout in the paid group. And in the global groups, I will share it on Monday. I will share this PDF in the my in paid batch right now, or I will share in the global groups as well. Ria, yes, if you can give 5 hours on a daily basis, then possible. Okay, where is the timetable? Here is the timetable. Let me enlarge it for you. So we will be having three past papers, proper drafting and discussions. I will teach you all the drafting on these three papers. Then we will have four mocks, then pre-scene discussion, then some extra stuff as well. Hatim, I cannot take verbal questions. Can you please type? Chaitya, I would suggest you enroll. Most of the questions are same, but it will give you structured practice plus you see pre-scene as well. Yalini, this only applies for skepticism skill. For others, it's already embedded in your answer. You don't have to write something separately. Naveed, you can start with that list if you want. Otherwise, you can just wait. Talib, yes, depends on you. If you can give 5 hours every day, then yes. Chaitya, I already replied. Faika, yes, it's you are able to pass if you can give 4 to 5 hours on a daily basis from tomorrow. All right, guys, done. So I will see you guys tomorrow again, and we will discuss some important things, some draftings. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Take care and bye bye.